Hello, my name is Ellie and this is what I did next. Welcome to my extremely windy garden. It is June and things in the garden are progressing really nicely. Sunflowers are starting to bloom now. The ones in the sun are doing that faster than the ones in the shade. I wondered how that would play out. I did notice something interesting before, which was the aphids seem to target the ones in the sun way more. And when I asked my auntie about that, she said that it's because of heat stress. So basically, the ones in the sun got more hot, got more dry, like not as much water. And because of that, they had more weakness that the aphids could take advantage of, basically. But I've dealt with that mostly now, so they seem to be fine. They look a bit silly in their little troughs now. I didn't realise how tall they would get because I got them from the vegetable plug section in the garden centre. And I thought, well, if they're just like, for eating the seeds, I didn't expect them to grow quite so big because they're not like, the 6-7 foot ones you buy for children. Or for me, I also like those. The carrots are doing fine. They look like they're growing. I can kind of see them under the soil. They look quite cramped in, so I'm a little bit concerned about that, whether I should separate them. But then I kind of feel like if they're settled there, maybe separating them would not be a good idea. I'm not sure. So you harvest carrots in autumn, so it's going to be a long time before we see the fruit of that, the vegetable of that at the end. My friend Jill from the walking group very nicely gave me some peppers and some tomatoes that she was going to get rid of because she had too many. And she was like, instead of throwing them on the compost heap, I'll give them to Ellie because she will like those. So I will hand over to past Ellie to plant those, and you can see me planting them. Hello, and I'm going to plant some peppers. So the first thing I'm going to do is get some of these weeds out. I've got a little old washing up bowl here for what we don't want. Some of these in here are actually old bulbs, so if I can get these out, I can save them for next year. There's one. I will leave that separate so it doesn't get fixed up. So why am I not wearing gloves? Well, the reason why is because I planted what wasn't here before, and I know there's nothing scary in here like glass or anything. And also, actually touching soil is really good for your mental health. I think there's I don't know, there's some sciencey reasons behind that I don't know off the top of my head, but I promise that it is true. I'm just going to get rid of these. There's another bulb in there. Ooh! There were daffodils in here. Oh, there we go. Right, so the top of this has got loads of gravel. The reason why I put gravel on top when I had bulbs in is because Monty Don did it in Garden as well. Like the one time I watched it and I thought, hey, that's great. Weeds won't come through, all the rest of it. But I didn't really think about how in the future I was going to have to get all this stuff off the top. So yeah, I won't be doing that again. Actually, I'll do the best I can. It doesn't matter too much because I'm going to be putting peppers in here. If I was putting carrots in here, I'd be really worried. Because with carrots, if you have any stones or anything in there, that's why you end up getting those weird shaped carrots that look like forked or like legs. Because carrot roots, if they touch anything, will just split like that. Oh, wow. That's a big one. They look like onions, don't they? I think actually daffodils are in the onion family, so that would make sense. But definitely wouldn't eat daffodils. I imagine they're very, very toxic. There's one. Oh, that's a rock. I thought that was sweet corn. No. My woodlouse. I don't know if it's safe for you to be in here right now, so you can go out there and hang out with the bluebells. Now I'm just gonna break it up a bit, because sometimes when soil's been sat about for a while, it kind of goes into chunks, and then obviously the roots of the plants, you want to be able to stretch out in there. Oh, it's really quite compacted at the bottom, so I'm just going to use this to help me. People also use forks for this, but that would require me getting up again. I feel great, let me tell you. It's kind of like when you're a child and you're playing in the sandpit, you know. It's a bit like that feeling. Okay. So you've got the soil nice and sort of tilled. I think tilled is the word, isn't it? Is it? I don't know. And I am going to put some fertiliser beads inside. Is this how they are meant to be used? I have no idea. I've never read the instructions. Maybe you're meant to put them on top. I don't know. I'm going to put some new soil on the top until hopefully it reaches that line. But again, this isn't a tutorial because I very much don't know what I'm doing. This is how I do it. And I'm sure that my techniques will evolve over time. If it's less clumpy soil, sometimes you can just pour it right out the bag. Hello. Sorry. So I've got, how many do I have actually? I've actually got 3 in here. I'm going to have to separate these, because if you just plant 3 of those together, they won't grow as well because all their root systems are going to be too close together. So she's also given me tomatoes, but I think they'll survive if I do them a different day. But I think these ones are quite big. Right, look at those roots on there. Very nice. So I'm going to squidge this because you want those roots to break out of the square it was in and then reach out into the soil. Because I gave Dad a clematis one time and he didn't squidge it, he just like literally went plonk into a bigger pot and it died, and we were like, oh, why is that? And we got it out and the roots were still conformed to the old pot it was in, and so it didn't grow and it just died. So don't do that. There we go, we'll plonk that, give that a good wiggle. I'm gonna push it down. There we go. That is happy plant. I might move it in a bit. It's alright. Make sure it's upright. I'm getting soil in my lap, but that's alright because I'm going to have a shower later. Give it a good squidge. There we go. Because obviously you need space around it for these roots to grow, for the foliage to grow. You don't want them too cramped together. Squidge those roots. There we go. You want to make sure that they're nice and squished in, so they're not just going to fall over when you water them. Nice and evenly spaced. And now, all that's left to do is to water them in. And that just encourages the plant to just sort of spread out and get into its new home, really. And this is why having a nail brush is really important. Oh no, that's fine. That's fine. Normally I'd like to have a rose on the end, but this watering can doesn't have one. So there's a fun fact for you. The thing at the end of a watering can that has all the holes in, it's called a rose, like plant. There's probably a reason for that I don't know of. And there you have it. The peps are all ready to go. All right, so this is what they look like now. So the peppers have flowered, the tomatoes are flowering. It seems like everything's in a flowering stage right now. And so hopefully we'll see some peppers and some tomatoes at some point. The tomatoes look quite leggy. I'm not really sure why that is. I have been watering them. I have been using like Tomerite, which is a fertiliser specifically for tomatoes. But I'm sure it's fine. We'll get a few off them. And, you know, it's more for the fun rather than what I produce. In the snail enclosure, the salad is absolutely blooming. I can start eating it now, probably. I don't know whether to pull it out of there. It seems quite happy in there and I don't mind it living there. But there are some tomatoes in there now which have just flourished that really need to come out because they're just dwarfing everything else. I did plant out a couple of tomatoes and a cucamelon from there a few weeks ago just to see if they'd survive, and the cucamelon died nearly immediately. So it did have its true leaves. So basically, when a seed first comes up, you have these two little leaves and you can't really tell what it is yet. And then it grows what it's called the true leaves, which are the leaves that are specific to that plant, and you can kind of identify it a bit more since then. And I thought, because it's got its true leaves, it probably is big enough to survive in its own pot. But unfortunately it did not. So I think I've still got some in the original big container. So hopefully, if I just wait a bit longer, they'll start flourishing. I wonder whether maybe in future I should just plant things a bit earlier in the season and give them more of a chance to get big, because it's already nearly July. But we'll see, we'll see. You know, maybe it's a cucamelon might be a next year venture, who knows. The Ukrainian watermelon unfortunately did die, but I kind of was expecting that, and looking it up, it turns out that melon is extremely difficult to grow. So I'm not going to be hard on myself about that. Sometimes things do just die anyway. That's just the nature of gardening. But I gave it a go, and that's all that matters, really. It's the journey, not the destination. The beans. The beans have finally grown. It was funny, like not long after the last video where the beans hadn't been doing anything, they suddenly all came up at once. And now they're like 6 foot tall. It is ridiculous how quickly beans grow. And they've got flowers now, which is really nice. Bees absolutely love bean flowers. And this year I've got a tricolour bean variety. So I've got, I've got the red flowers and I've got the pinky flowers and I've got the white flowers. Whereas normally I've only had red flowers. So it's a bit more interesting this year. And I'm excited to see what the beans are going to be like, actually, because planting them, some of the actual beans were white. So I'm guessing that corresponds with the white flowers, but we'll see. But yeah, should start seeing some actual beans growing in the not too distant future. So yeah, beans I recommend for people to grow because they're super easy and you get quite a lot from them, and they don't all sprout at once, and so you can grab some for dinner, and then in the next few days you can grab some more, so it's quite good. I quite enjoy beans. And finally, I've got a courgette growing. It is a yellow courgette. My auntie came round and she brought me that, which I'm really excited about. And I will show you me planting it right now. What surprised me was that they have absolutely massive flowers, and I had no idea. And when I said that to my auntie, she informed me that actually you can eat the flowers as well. And there's like a BBC recipe for eating the flowers, which I think is hilarious. But yeah, that is my garden at the moment, and hopefully we'll have some things to eat soon. And I'll see you then. Oh, and the bean in Mum's flower bed is living but a bit floppy.